call to order the City Council regular meeting of the City of Wyoming, Minnesota for August 20th, 2024. Let the record reflect we do have a quorum. Member Luger, Member Onstad, Member Schilling, Member Yeager, and Mayor Iverson are present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Open forum, is anybody here for open forum? Okay, we're gonna move on to number 1, approval of minutes. Consider approving the minutes of the regular meeting of the Wyoming, Minnesota City Council for August 7th, 2024. Are there any comments or changes? If not, we need a motion to approve. We have a motion to approve by Member Luger. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Onstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Number 2, to consider resolution 240875, a resolution receiving bids and awarding a contract for the 2024 street improvement project. Mr. Erickson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. As you're aware, we recently took bids on the 2024 street improvement project. I want to just take one step back and say thank you for allowing us to take a step back, and we did an addendum. We modified how we were going to bid the project, where we allowed the contractor to complete potentially next year, remove some risk for them with this construction season that we've had. We know that there was limitations on what windows of opportunity they had to complete the remaining work that they had on the books already. And so that did drum up additional bidders. We did receive 7 total bids, with A1 Excavating being the low bidder. We did do 2 alternates, and one was to include the trails within Burgess Park. They're in very, very poor condition, and we know that when we have projects adjacent to our park projects, we've typically looked at bidding alternates to see is it something we want to do at this time. It's certainly less expensive if they were to come in at a later date and do them separately. And then also, upon further inspection, as we looked and evaluated Goodwin Lane, we looked at the curb and gutter out there. And so we talk, typically when we do these type of projects, we'll remove the pavement and we'll do spot repair on concrete curb and gutter. And upon our review, it looked to be about anywhere between 1/3 and 1/2 of the panels had pretty significant cracks in them. And we wanted to take this opportunity, as long as we're doing the improvement, to do it right. And so we did bid an alternate to do that 100% of that curb removal. And so we did evaluate that as well. And so with that, we are recommending award of contract to A1 Excavating for both the base bid and alternate 1 and alternate 2 in the total amount of $1,475,560. I will say that the assessments are going to be less than the feasibility for a number of reasons. One, we received, again, outstanding bid prices on this project, but during the design process, in the feasibility study, we assumed, knowing that there were some drainage areas that we're going to have to put in some storm sewer. With our design and minor tweaks and modifications, we were able to eliminate that. So that too also saved some money, and so we are going to see assessments less than what was identified in the feasibility study. We won't know the exact number until we're nearing completion of the project, but we'll know that at the time of the assessment hearing.
I'm gonna start with a question, and this is just me being naive, if you will. My hope was that they'd have extra pavement, extra whatever, that they could just, here's extra, we're just gonna pave that Burgess trail a little bit, right? That was my hope. It's amazing on how expensive that is.
Yeah,
I mean, I was like, in my mind, thinking maybe 20,000, right? Just because it's not that big. It's not that long, but are they doing the parking lot too, or is it just the trail?
It's the hammerhead, kind of the turnaround area there, that will be completed as part of the project.
Okay, then that makes a little more sense, because I was really surprised at that. So that's my only question. Questions from council? Member Luger?
No questions.
Member Onstad?
No questions.
Member Schilling?
No questions.
Member Yeager?
Is this bid for only part of the project? Because your feasibility study and your bonding was talking about 2.7 and 2.88 million.
Yeah, so this is only the construction cost, so it doesn't include any of the geotechnical, the inspection, the survey, none of those other costs, the bonding costs and things like that. So those are above and beyond, but it is significantly less than that. And again, partly because we received really good bid prices, and secondly, we're not installing the storm sewer that we had anticipated needing. We, at the feasibility study, we don't get into the final design, but we were able to modify the design and reduce those overall costs of the project.
So basically, we went from a $2.76 million project down to a $1.475 million project.
It's probably closer to a $2 million project when we're done. This is, again, just the construction cost. It doesn't include any of the design, any of the inspection, none of the
Okay,
surveying.
so-
It's less than 2 million, but it is significantly less than what was identified previously.
So we're not gonna be taking out $2.88 million in bonds?
Correct.
Correct, and we still have time to update that. If you remember when Chris Hogan from Baker Tilly was here, she did ask that question, I believe was asked by you, council member, in regarding that, if it could be a lower amount prior to that bond sale. So we will be working with Ms. Hogan to get the finality of those numbers in prior to that bond sale that we'll have. It will be not until close to October now with some of the, with the upcoming holiday, and then also there's a industry-wide conference that we want to make sure that we have everyone's attention when we go out for bid on this project, and that's when we've identified as the appropriate time to go out for sale.
Okay, so if this thing doesn't include the designs and various costs, when is that gonna be figured in?
That is always figured in at the time of preparing the assessment documents, when we know how much. So we estimate, like our feasibility study, there'll be an estimate for what that is, and we'll provide that to Mr. Linwood to have ready to identify what is the total amount that should be bonded for. And that'll
Okay.
include all, yeah. If I may also just let you know, the contractor is, we provided that flexibility. We did indicate that they had to start this year. Their intent is to finish this year. They have a window, and their sub has a window to do this work.
Oh, good.
We've already received the bonds in the mail. They're wanting to go, and so we're gonna turn around contracts immediately as well tomorrow if the council's inclined to award the contract. And so hopefully we can get things moving along here sometime in September and get things going.
It does look like there's some new people in here that I don't recognize that we've used before.
Yeah,
So I thought that was interesting. Have we used A1 before?
we have. They did our 2015 improvement project.
Okay,
It's been a little while, but we do
Yeah.
work with them in other communities, and they're actually a pretty large company out of Wisconsin.
okay.
Yeah, so they're a
I
pretty
couldn't
large firm.
remember who did that
I
back
know,
then,
yeah.
so feels like we've had a lot, so. All right, Mr. Lunan, just this quick question, it does affect me because it's on my road, can I vote or not?
This type of action, because it's a big enough spread out impact, you don't need to recuse yourself on it.
I don't, okay.
Correct.
All right, so if there are no other questions, we need a motion to approve Resolution 240875, a motion to approve or award the contract to A1 Excavating LLC in the amount of $1,475,560. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by member Schilling, we have a second by member Luker. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Consent agenda number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Does anybody wish to pull an item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, we need a motion to approve 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by member Luker. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by member Onstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Acknowledge receipts of reports of officers, boards, commissions, and department heads. Number 9, 10, 11, and 12. Does anybody wish to pull an item for further discussion? Seeing none, we'll move on to communications. Number 13, Moody's rating upgrade for the city of Wyoming, Minnesota, AA2 rating. Mr. Linwood, very exciting news.
It is. Thank you, Mayor, members of council. This is a very exciting news to have an upgrade. We already sat with a very good bond rating for the city of Wyoming, but to have an upgrade to AA2 really is exceptional. So really that's a excellent work to the council, really, for your diligence and your decisions and strategic management of the city. It really has a huge direction on that as far as how we maintain strong reserves, and just for the financial health of our community. So that's really one of the big ratings. It's also significance in regards to some of the things identified in that memo that I sent to you. It represents that higher level of creditworthiness, which when we do go out for bond sales like this, it does mean that we potentially can have lower interest rates, which obviously is always extremely good for our overall debt levy and financial portfolio. It does allow us for just that flexibility in managing our debt for future capital, so that is also just something that we have on this. And then, once again, it's just the recognition of that strong financial management that we've been able to maintain here at the city. So like I said, I'd like to thank the council for all your diligence. You're a big reason for this, and it is to have go up to an AA2. It's exciting news for Moody's.
Okay. Questions from Council Member Yeager?
None.
Member Luker?
No questions, but I think equal amount of thanks to city staff for all their diligence and hard work and throughout the budget process and keeping us up to speed.
Thank you.
Member Ronstadt?
No questions.
Member Schilling?
No questions.
Okay, and I'm gonna as well say congratulations with staff. I mean, you guys help us. You give us that knowledge. So it's kind of a whole citywide thing. So I think that's pretty outstanding for that. So thank you very much. We're gonna move on to new business, moving right along. Number 14, to consider resolution 240881, a resolution approving the purchase of Motorola portable and mobile radios from Ancon Communications, Inc. for the amount of $222,568.98. Chief Bauer, are you doing this one, or do we have?
That's me.
That's you. Okay.
Yep. Madam Mayor, members of the council, similar conversation that we had earlier this year. We have aging radios in our fire vehicles and their portable radios. These were initially obtained from the county back in 2019, if I remember correctly, and they're at their end of life. They're 12 years old, no longer supported by Motorola. We initially had thought that we were going to purchase the fire side of this next year. As we relooked at ARPA funding, we needed to allocate that money this year. So the city's been setting aside funding our CIP budget since 2019. So we do have, I believe, $150,000 set aside up to this point to help fund this purchase. And then the remaining would be funded through these ARPA funds, which then does allow an additional, there are additional funds for other projects as well that would be discussed separately. Ancom is the retailer that we purchased these from, the dealer that we purchased these from. We're looking at purchasing 25 portable radios, 1 base radio, 8 mobile radios, chargers, additional replacement batteries, and all of the other accessories needed. The total cost for this is $222,568.98. This is a consistent pricing regardless of where you purchased them from on a state contract. So, and Ancom has been fantastic to work with. This will provide our fire service to be compliant with any future upgrades to the radios that are needed with encryption. And that's a big discussion that just came up last week is realistically, this needs to happen sooner than later. We're, fire and to have conversations with our fire department right now, we can't technically do some of the things that are happening because we're not on an encrypted radio. So this does need to happen. There is a good wait time on some of these, but they will invoice us prior to the end of the year just to make sure that we're compliant with the ARPA requirements. Looking for that authorization to purchase these radios in the amount listed using those 2 funding sources. Any questions?
I'm going to start with a question
Sure.
because this has been kind of my thing since I've been mayor, right, with these radios. So I know we can't guarantee a timeline on how long they're good for, right? And we know that the state's going to upgrade all of the towers and all that kind of stuff. So what have you been hearing about the towers? What have you been hearing about how long these will probably work for us?
Yeah.
And will we continue to put money away?
This is what all the recommendation is from, whether it's from the county, from every other sources. This is what we should be purchasing to be compliant. The warranty on them is 5 years. That's all they will guarantee. We'll get longer use out of these. That's what everyone's purchasing. The next newest version, no one's even seen yet. It's not even out there yet. So we're in good shape for quite a bit of time, but we will be continuing to put money aside because it's gonna have to be another purchase down the road that we're gonna have to make, so.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, questions from council? We'll start with Member Schilling.
No questions. We can't get these at Radio Shack?
I don't think that,
that
I don't
even
think
around
so.
anymore?
Is that
It is.
around anymore?
Severn, Wisconsin, there's one. Yep.
Yeah, okay, all right. No, I have no questions. Thank you, Chief.
All right, and Member Yeager.
So then the split is 110,000 from the CIP and the rest from the ARPA funds?
150 from the CIP and the remainder would be from the
Okay,
ARPA.
Thank
Yes.
you.
All right, Member Luker.
My only question is that you mentioned that there's a little bit of a lag time on, that we'd be invoiced before the end of the year. Do you know approximately how long?
It
will
could be
take to
8
get-
months.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a significant, everyone's,
Because everybody's in the
Yeah.
same boat, okay.
so we've already received a lot of the police one, all the other stuff, it's the radio itself
Okay.
that we haven't received yet, and we don't expect those till the end of this year. So it would be in '25 when we receive these.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Member Onstead.
To get an idea of how long the radios are gonna last, the previous radios, we got them used, what,
Yeah.
how many years ago?
2019.
2019, so we got 5 years off, and they're probably how old at that time?
They were 5 years
Yeah.
old at that
Yeah.
point. So these are 12 years old. We were started running into issues for sure last year where they couldn't do updates on them anymore on some of them. So, they'll only say 5 years, we'll get longer than that out of
Yeah.
them.
But we probably realistically could look at 10, 12 years down the road
That would be
before we're even
a
looking at.
really long time, but yes, I would say probably closer to 8, we should be relooking at it, yeah.
All right, all right, we need a motion to approve Resolution 240881, a resolution approving the purchase of Motorola portable and mobile radios from Ancon Communications for the amount of $222,568.98. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Member Onstad. Mayor Iverson will make that second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Number 15, to consider the hiring of Logan Strang to the Intensive Comprehensive Peace Officer Education and Training Program, ICPOET cadet position. Again, Mr. Chief Bauer? is
Yep,
that-
that's me. Madam Mayor, members of council, we have, this is pretty cool that this worked out this way. As you know, we were awarded a $50,000 grant by the OJP up through the state for hiring a college graduate in any degree to attend an accelerated program to become an officer in our state, in our city. We did an application process. These were some of the best applicants I've seen in a long time. It was really cool to see the individuals that are looking to make career changes mid-career, and Logan is someone that we identified in that process. He has a bachelor's degree in water resources from Stevens Point. He's done construction and landscaping, he's done water management, and he's currently working at Rosenbauer in our city. He lives in our city, which is always going to be our best bet for retention, for keeping our officers. He's looking for a career change. We'd be looking at this temporary full-time position. It was posted at the $22.67 per hour. We would be bringing him in as of next Monday, and his position would be until April 1st, when we would look at transitioning him to, provided he is, maintains, successfully completes the program. We would be looking to appoint him to a officer position at that point. But this is just for the approval of the temporary position up until that point.
Okay, great.
Is there any
thank you.
questions?
So questions from council, we'll start with Member Onstad.
No questions.
Member Luker?
No questions.
Member Yeager?
No questions.
Member Schilling?
No questions.
And I have none either, so we need a motion
you.
to approve the hiring of Logan Strang to the Intensive Comprehensive Peace Officer Education and Training Program. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Member Onstad. Do we have a second?
A second.
Second by Member Luker. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. That's exciting. So council reports, we're gonna start with, let's start with Member Onstad.
I attended the work session just prior to this meeting.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. We'll do Member Schilling.
Work session prior to this meeting, and thank you guys that came out to visit, and those watching. Have a great night.
Member Yeager.
Oh, I just attended the work session prior to this meeting, and thank you for coming, guys, and thank you for watching.
Member Yeager?
Luger.
Oh, Luger,
Luger.
sorry. Time for Dairy Queen.
Right. I attended the sewer commission meeting yesterday, as well as the workshop earlier tonight, and also Stamp Out Suicide on Saturday, which was just a really, really great event, and my legs are still sore. So.
All right, I have a lot, sorry. Are you ready? Okay, so I attended the EDA meeting. We have a new member on our EDA, and we're pretty excited to have a new member. The Planning Commission as well, I attended a liaison for that. A lot of conversation about cannabis. That's always very interesting. The Sewer Commission, which was last night. And then tonight we had our budget meeting. Then for the fun stuff, attended the Special Olympic fundraiser at Dunkin' Donuts in Lino. Super fun. So many people, and it was like the drive-through. Well, of course, that Dunkin' is my favorite place to go to, anyways. But it was just lined up with people. You had fire and police from different cities.
Yeah, it was
and
very cool.
what would you want to chime in on a little bit more than that? You had a picture out there. I need your donut costume, by the way.
Sure. I can send you the Amazon link if you'd like. Yeah. No, it's a really cool fundraiser. Lionel Lakes PD and Fire was out there. Forest Lake PD was out there, and we were out there, all just to bring awareness and to raise funds for Special Olympics. And it's a great way to provide that visibility for them as well. So.
Yeah, and if you donated money, you'd get a coupon
Yes.
for a free donut. I mean, that's awesome that Dunkin' Donuts does
Yeah,
that as
absolutely.
a whole.
Yeah,
So,
great supporter.
cool, awesome. All right, and then I also attended, this may not be in our city, but I think it's great for our city, is the Boca Haven Senior Living, Assisted Living building that just opened up in North Branch. And there's never enough senior living. And so I was super excited that we could be there, so I could be there and with their ribbon cutting and stuff, and saw the other mayor of North Branch and then also many of our county commissioners. So I welcome them into the county, which I think is great. This was fun as well. Elsie Johnson's 102nd birthday. So Elsie, congratulations. What just a joy. 102, what has she seen in 102 years? I was blown away, and her humor is really good, really good. And she's at Meadows. So happy birthday to her. And then we have Stomp Out Suicide 5K. Over 1,000 people attended. It did rain, which was kind of a bummer. But it still didn't deter any people from showing up or the reason why people were there. So I do need to give kudos to Mr. Reeves. I heard nothing but great things from Canvas Health, and they said your department was amazing to work for. It was the best that they've ever had in the 12 years that they've been doing this. So I wanted to make sure that I passed that along to you. So
Great, thanks. I'll make sure the crew hears that
Yeah.
feedback.
I would appreciate that. So I believe that's it. So, all right. With that, thank you for coming tonight. We always like seeing people in the audience. We need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion to adjourn from Member Luker. Do we have a second?
Second.
Anybody? Oh, second by Member Schilling. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 7.